to be a great weekend, and we've already had some good things going on today. We have the 5 coaches as you see here, which we will introduce them in just a moment. When you get ready for questions, I just want to remind you, raise your hand, wait until a microphone is given you, and identify yourself. And then if you do have, and ask your question please to a specific person, not just the whole panel. And if you forget, I'll try to prompt one of them to answer.
In the area, and, it's a 4-hour drive from State College, so. But yeah, being in the city is it's a little different, but it's exciting. Once you get in the arena, I think it's like they're all the same. So we're excited to be here, and we're thankful for this opportunity. So thanks.
Pat Popolizio with North Carolina State, also a New Yorker.
That's right. Yeah, no, I'm very excited to be here. Obviously, this is my home state, and a couple of guys on our roster are from the state of New York as well. So we're pretty familiar with our surroundings. It's just a great opportunity to be in a historical venue, and just excited to get out there and compete and put on a good show for everybody that's here this weekend to watch.
John Smith with Oklahoma State.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, we've had a couple days here. Of course, some of your student athletes have first experience in New York City, so for that reason, it's been good. And gym looks great. The facility looks great. So let's just hope we have a great tournament.
Tom Ryan, Ohio State.
Looking forward to competing in Madison Square Garden. Obviously, I grew up 35 minutes from here, so it was quite often my brother and I would train in and work out at the New York Athletic Club on Tuesday nights. It's a special place. As a young person, I also got to see the Globetrotters compete here as a kid, and I got to see Neil Diamond sing here. So, so my Iowa boys were with me back in college. We caught that concert. It was spectacular. Won't be as good as the wrestling this weekend, but looking forward. Cael, obviously from the East Coast, and Kenny Court's not too far away, so it's a special place to be. I'm looking forward to it.
Tom Brands, Iowa.
Same as everybody. We know it's historic, and we know it's a challenge, and it's good to be in the Big Apple, no doubt.
I wish it could have been a different draw, but it is what it is. And I probably won't be in this corner. I don't know. It's kind of how I feel in the morning, or how he feels. So, tough match, and Joseph knows it's a tough match, so we'll take it from there.
Tom.
So I remember the brackets came out, and Logan Stieber said to me, "Wow, your son and Smith's son are going to wrestle. Do you realize that there are 6 world titles and 2 Olympic medals between the families?" So Logan's always good for a sly remark. So obviously, names and nods with wrestling, we know what the Smiths, their passion for the sport. So excited that Jake's got the opportunity to compete with JoJo. So.
Will you be in the corner?
Probably, it just depends, when the match comes up, and we've got some great assistants that like to be in his corner as well. So, yeah.
Britt in the back.
Britt Malinsky, Internet. Tom Ryan, this is you're the only coach up here that's actually on the NCAA selection committee, Wrestling Championships Committee, and it's your first time. How much different did it feel like actually being on that committee as opposed to being like all of us waiting for the brackets to come out?
I can tell you the people that are on the committee are great people. They take what they do incredibly seriously. I think it ended up being 28 hours in meetings over a 2-day period. I think the process is a good one. I think the people on the committee care about it. They're making it better. So overall, it was a great experience for me to be involved at this level. You want to make a difference. You want to make a difference in the sport, and by being on committees, you have a chance to.
Front row. Here.
Christian Piles with Flow Wrestling. Questions for Coach Smith. Coach, you guys have had, I don't know how to describe this, but a lot of changes in your lineup. You've had injuries that you've dealt with and things like that. What's been the messages, if you've seen some pretty talented guys go down to the team, as you guys are still very much in the title hunt right now. How have you been kind of handling those breaks?
Well, you just handle them each week, you know, things that it's been a challenging year. I mean, we've had things that I've never experienced as a coach, and you know, after 25 years, you think you've seen it all, and all of a sudden, you get rattled, you know. It seemed like for about 3 or 4 straight weeks, we were rattled as a team. So we wrestled 23 different guys this year, starting in the lineup, and that's pretty unusual. You know, you just feel fortunate that you're in a position. You know, we had several kids from Stillwater High School that really made a difference in our depth. You know, so it's just good to be here and still being considered a team that can win. You know, at one time during the year, I didn't know about it. So I'm just real pleased that a lot of individuals, you know, stepped up at a time when it was real important for them to step up. So you don't come here and all of a sudden you're part of the team that can win unless you have some individuals really stepping up for you, and that's what happened for us.
Next. Right here.
Mitch Rupert from the Williams Sports Sun Gazette. Cael, last year you made the decision to redshirt freshmen like Jason Nolf and Bo Nickel when they probably could have competed at this tournament. Likewise with Nico Megaludis and Zane Rutherford. Why was that the right decision for the program, and has that decision helped set up Penn State for a run like you had over the last 5 or 6 years?
Well, you know, I don't know if we'll know if it was the right decision until, you know, 10 years down the road and we'll look back. But I think, you know, we're confident with it and felt like we did the right thing with the circumstances that we had. The big one was Zane Rutherford. You know, to kind of take him out of the old guard there and put him in front of this new guard, this new group of kids coming through. Because his leadership's been incredible. You know, just attitude, you know, philosophy, the way he views competition, the way he views training, lifestyle, all that stuff. So, you know, I think that was a huge bonus for us to kind of get him. He's still a sophomore, obviously, but he's kind of able to lead our program. And that's kind of, I think, you know, the big picture. But when you make those decisions, you're obviously thinking big picture. But as a coach, you want to win right now, you know, and who knows what's going to happen in the future. So you just have to weigh all those options. And we'll, you know, in 10 years, we'll answer that same question. Who knows?
I'm going to throw a quick question to Coach Popolizio. We had Nick Gwistowski in here earlier. What's it been like to coach a heavyweight of that caliber? Because he has a chance, obviously, to be in pretty rare company. If he wins again this weekend, you might address what he's been like.
It's been a special relationship. Obviously, I've known him for a very long time. We had the same high school coach, so you know, I've been able to build that relationship up for a very long time with him. But you know, he's done some special things for the sport of wrestling, and you know, it's just another weekend for him. But he's fun to watch. I think, you know, when you watch heavyweights wrestle, a lot of times they're, you know, the match is a little slower, but he goes out and tries to attack as much as he can and put as much points out there on the board, and it makes it fun to watch. And that's been good for college wrestling in general. And it's just, you know, he's doing a lot of things right to put himself in this position to compete here in the state of New York. So it'll be fun.
Next question. Sir, right in front.
This is for you, Pat, as well. Richard Emily, yes, sir, wrestling, sorry. Coming into the year, I think a lot of us thought you had the chance to have a really good team. You know, has this year sort of progressed the way you thought it would progress? And how do you evaluate your guys, their confidence level coming into this tournament, and the potential to achieve a team trophy or even beyond that?
Yeah, you know, I think if you look where we were at when we started the season, each week we kind of gained confidence as a team, and then more importantly, the individuals that were, you know, starting to have success, that kind of got contagious with us. And you know, where we're at as a program, to be able to compete with some of the teams we were able to compete with this year, I think really ultimately set the tone for the ending of the season, going into the ACCs. It built a ton of confidence for us, and you know, it's a different ball game. out here, but it's still wrestling. Our guys are very confident at this point, but they did that themselves throughout the season, so they just got to go out and do what they've been doing all year, and it's the competition stays the same. We wrestle a very tough schedule this year, so we're familiar with a lot of the guys that we're going to see throughout the tournament, just like everybody else. But no, it's been for us. It's been a very exciting year. It's things kind of explode a little quickly as far as the success with this team, and it's just we're thankful to be in the situation we are with the teams that we can compete with.
I have been asked to pitch this to one of the coaches about special events that have occurred in wrestling the past few years, Beat the Streets, Grapple in the Garden. And then last November, Coach Tom Brands, they hosted Grapple on the Gridiron, drew a record crowd of more than 42,000. So Tom Brands, you might address about the importance of wrestling having special events like that.
I think it's important to look at the history of the sport and why it was so grand. I mean, you look at ancient Rome, you look at Mike Novogratz's brainchild to have something outside, and it wasn't original from our point of view. It's just something that you keep trying to push the envelope a little bit, and we got the fans to do it. We proved that, and we don't take credit for being original, but we do take credit for being able to pull it off in grand fashion, and I think wrestling needs it. I think it needs it on a yearly or semi-yearly or whatever, as many times as you can get it packed in there basis. And you have a good product, and you make it good with fanfare and excitement, and the more people you put into a building to watch a sport, the more exciting it gets. There's no doubt, and especially knowledgeable wrestling fans that feel things coming or see things coming ahead of time, and they're informed and they're educated as to what's coming, when the fall's coming, near fall, team points, those types of things. So a lot going on there. That's real positive.
Thank you. Next question. Back row.
Nick Forster of Sports Illustrated. Coach Brands, just kind of as a follow-up to that, how does this weekend help grow the sport of wrestling? And specifically, not just with the NCAA championships, but competing at Madison Square Garden?
I think it's historic. I think, I don't know how much impact there's going to be. I think there's a lot of things that compete with wrestling here, the Rangers, the Islanders, the Knicks. New Jersey has some professional teams going on right now, but that doesn't mean that with great wrestling and great stories and people putting them out there, that this can't be a great stage for wrestling. We are in the Garden, and we're on the main floor of the Garden. We're not in a corner of the Garden or anywhere else. And so, go out there and let it fly, and that's what you got to do. You got to have your team ready to go, and you got to have guys that are ready to put it on their shoulders and compete at a level that's going to not only give them the best chance to win, but that's going to capture the fancy of fans, and that's how you do it. And it's courage. It takes a lot of courage to wrestle that way. And the guys that I watched wrestle when I was younger, they were the ones that were scoring points. I mean, and one of those guys is right here sitting at this table, and his name's John Smith. I mean, he scored a lot of points when he wrestled. He revolutionized the sport of wrestling, and that's what these guys, that's how they got to look at it sometimes, take that responsibility. I believe in that. We talk about it as part of the philosophy of our program.
Next.
Bobby Locke from Beat the Streets and News Tribune Online up in Boston. So this goes right into what you were talking about, Tom. You five are great ambassadors for the sport. John and Cael, you all have lots of team national titles, and John, you just coached Cael back on the world team. So how do you guys approach that, Cael? Like, do you think you're gonna catch John with your team championships, and how does that get you guys going?
Most of the championships I didn't win, so I've got a small number compared to them. So he's got a ways to catch us. Catch me, I think he needs just one more.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's real worried about that. I think, as coaches, we're just trying to put the best product we can out there on the floor and trying to help kids reach their goals. And if you do that and you have the ability to win a team championship, that's a great bonus. But that's obviously we all want to win, and everyone up here has a chance to win. But I don't think it's anything personal, or I'm trying to catch this guy or that guy. It's if you're doing that, you're probably not going to make it real far in the sport.
Thank you.
Next question. Nothing else? Sure, got one more over here in the front.
This is J.P. Pearson of Black Tree Diaries. Question for Coach Sanderson. Last year after the championship, you told us that we always have to believe that we can win, but we also have to have the guys who can score the points. So I was wondering if you can tell us if there's a difference between feeling like you have to believe you can win and actually believing you can win, and whether or not you feel like you have the guys who can score the points this year. Thanks.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what you asked me there. I'm a little slow. But I think if you act as if you know, right, you believe you're going to win, you're going to do things right. You know, you're going to fight a little harder, a little bit longer, regardless of the score, regardless of the circumstances. So, you know, there's great power in believing because you're going to do things correctly and you're going to put more effort into it. Versus if I think, well, there's a chance I might win, well, then you're going to be a little easily, you'll be discouraged a little easier, I think. So, but yeah, you have to have kids that. You know, have the ability to win matches and score points, and you know, a kid comes into our program, we're not going to change, you know, his core beliefs or, you know, turn him into something that, you know, the foundation wasn't already there. That comes from home and comes from his parents. I mean, very rarely do people change or do kids change. So, well, you know, recruiting is obviously very important, and you know, getting kids that fit your program, kids that the bigger the match, the better they wrestle, kids that like to score points, like, you know, all the coaches are talking about. But you know, there's great value in believing. If you don't believe, you're going to be a little bit more willing to, you know, to take what you know falls in your lap. And if you're willing to do that, you're probably not going to win. So hopefully that
Does. Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
Final question? Otherwise, yes, got one right back here. Addie, right back.
Pat, you mentioned the program sort of exploded. I mean, how satisfying has it been for you this year just to watch the climb and you know, you're sitting up there now and being a legitimate contender? Has the process gone a little faster than you may have thought?
Yeah, you know, I think it's definitely a little quicker than we expected as far as the NC State fan base and our administration, but I think the work that the guys have been doing, you know, they're getting rewarded with their success. So, you know, that part of it's really nice to see. You got a group of guys that are really committed to everything that we're about, and it's been shown with their, you know, their results have been putting in. But, you know, ultimately this weekend really matters the most to both them and the team aspect of things. You know, you got individuals that have goals, and you want to be a part of that, and you want to see them be able to accomplish that. So it's been a special season, but, you know, this weekend definitely could define a lot of that.
I want to let you know also that I think these five gentlemen will come down front or be available for a couple of minutes afterwards if you need some one-on-one with them. But other than that, any other questions right now? Are we good? I want to thank the five coaches for being here. Thank all of you for being here. And gentlemen, good luck this weekend.